Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome, my dear students, to OP1 offline lecture. So in this lecture, I'm going to continue with content for this course. What we covered for this is for second week. This lecture for second week. What we covered last week was about introduction about the course and why we are going to go for a Flutter framework and learning that language. Then we covered these topics, like a little bit about the Dart history and the OOP in Dart, and the relationship between Dart and JavaScript, and like the advantages, like main advantages of Flutter framework. Then we started already working on that language by working on the main function, and already you know now about it, how it works in that, and it's important. Then understanding the code, nothing like without a semicolon, and all this like a simple like introduction or basic syntax about that language we covered. Then we moved to libraries and simple quiz, and we started like with the objects in that and in reality and what are variables. So our focus like on chapter 2 mainly on variables and data types. So this is what we focused on last time. And how to declare variables, now we should already know about it. Data types that we have on that language, the numbers, general type of numbers, the specific type, data type. Then we started with strings and we stopped maybe in this part, and strings part. All right. So today I'm going to continue with the strings, interpolation, and embedding variables in strings, like then moving to Boolean and the type, inference and annotations in that, and lastly like defining constant, and to use this simple quiz which we already like solved with one of the groups, with the I guess. So for this week you are going to work on this one, then we will stop on operator, which will be covered hopefully by next week. Then we move to other part of the book, of the slide notes that you have. So now I should start maybe with strings. So in this section you will learn about like string and string literals on that. We started working on this example on Dartpad website.dev. So like this is like a string, this is also a string. This one in string you have two options, either to use double quotation or single quote. We said both of them are correct, and these are the examples which you are going to apply on the lab session. Printing a string with the single quote, with double quote, with the escape character, the slash single quote, and then with the double quote also we are going to use it with the single quote together, so you can use them without using the escape character. So defining the variable, it is like string variable, same as we declared other types of variables before, like integer, double. We're going to use the same way, string, like data type, then variable name, and literal that you want to store in the variable. So like here a string we stored in S1 variable, as you can see, and we printed out that variable. Interpolation here. So when we talk about interpolation, we have to start first with the string concatenation. Concatenation of two strings, like joining them together, it means, and using the plus operator. For example, we declare two here strings, string 1 and 2. Then we said print S1, S2. And we made this in like concatenation in many different ways on the lab. We can do it in other ways also, which you will try by yourself. The interpolation, like ability to create new strings, modify existing ones by embedding them with expressions. So embedding strings with expressions called string interpolation. Expressions are evaluated and resulting like values are converted to strings. With the enclosing of like string interpolation in Dart is more concise and efficient alternative to string concatenation. However, string interpolation is a lot more complex than simple concatenation, which allows a lot more flexibility and this like advantage in Dart. Syntax: unescaped character, this dollar sign in string signifies the beginning of interpolated expression. So we will in interpolation, string interpolation, we are going to use a dollar sign to join like variables with the string literal. For example, here we have said we print like we are saying in this string, optional string is like the string literal, and we said here we have a variable identifier like a variable. We have to put before the variable name dollar sign, then we put the other string literal that we have. So this one will be printed this part, which with the dollar sign will be printed as the value of the variable. That's what I'm saying. Or we can use dollar sign with curly braces to, and between curly braces we are going to put expression to be evaluated when we print out the string. So learning by example, here as you can see we have Japan, and I want to visit a country. So if we look at here, we can just write, for example, dart.div, and we can see this example as you can see. So okay, I will use it format. Then I run it, the example. So as you can see, dollar here, result you see it. A dollar will be a sign, country referring to this variable with Japan. So we are combining here in string interpolation, like we can use like expression with string literal. So I want to visit Japan, and you can change Japan to anything else that you like. For example, Iraq, and you can do it. For example, here is what single quote instead of double quote. So you can use either single quote or double quote to the string, and both are correct. Whatever country that you like to visit, you can just write it here. It's up to you. This is just for testing this example. And you have here the, this one is using expression. Sum of 5 and 3 equal. Then between curly braces, we said 5 plus 3, and you will get 5 plus 3, you get the result after you run here. Okay, I click on format, be formatted to according to Dart guideline, code guidelines. So the sum of 5 and 3 is 5 plus 3 is 8, of course will be 8. So the expression will be evaluated when you run the program. So which the compiler process and interpret to it. Okay. Multiple lines we can use like in this way, same as this way. We can close each string on each line by using a single quote or double quotation. Then we print them together. As you can see, they will print it B. So here we are concatenating adjacent string listers together. Or many strings together. So as you can see, I will put them together on each one on different line, and you can see all of them. They will be without any line break. They will printed on the same line. So if we want to keep the string, each one on it's like that one was like single line string. If we want to keep them on each one on different line, we have to use a triple double quotation at the beginning. I will put each line on the line, like desired line of printing. Then we print out. Then they will be shown across different lines instead of one line. So if you look at here now, format, and I will put this as multi-screen consisting of multiple lines, 3 lines. So with using triple double quotations, you are going to get each one on the same as you are going to print, you are going to see them on the output. Okay. It might take a time, sometimes usually for this that div to be worked, but hopefully next week we are going to shift to IntelliJ, which will be much faster than using this one, which depends on the internet connectivity or connection speed. So as you can see, they are printed on different times. Challenge: embed a variable on a string. It was your challenge, and you will be given like time to do this challenge during the last session. So if you look at here in just in concise way, you will give input to the program. For example, Ben and 18, you will create maybe one string and integer, let us say. Then I want you to show me this output. If you have this input, I want you to show this output. Based on the input, you will show this one. If you write an input was your name, for example, Ahmed, you will get Ahmed is, for example, 20 years old, let us say. Or Ben 18, you will get Ben is 18 years old. So this one, in output, will be changed according to the input. This is what I want you to do. Either you get the input by using keyboard or by strings literal, by string variables, you can go, it is the same. It's up to you how to do it. The important thing, I want to see your code during the class. This one will not be graded, but future challenges will be graded accordingly. Regarding Boolean variables, as you can see, like bool and b1 equals true, print b1, it will be, you will get what? True. So it is similar to Java, C++, other languages. I think they are also using the same syntax for defining a Boolean variable. Type inference and notation. So that is strongly typed. Strongly typed language take extra precaution and have rules and restrictions to ensure that variables value always match variables static type. So static type programming language are those in which variables need to be defined before they are being used. Also types are mandatory in that type annotations are optional because of type inference. So let's first understand what is like type inference. Type inference, like as the name says, the type inference is a programming language ability to infer types when not specified by the user. Until now, we have been declaring like variables using this syntax, data type variable equal initial value. But when using the type inference, to allow us to declare variable without explicitly like saying a data type for that variable. We're using like a var keyword in this place, like in place of data type. We can write var variable type initial value. So variable types are inferred from their initial value, if any. So depending on the initial value, the compiler will recognize the type of that variable. As you can see here, we have three variables. This one may be based on the initial value is text, string, and this one is string, and this one is integer. If we print all of them, we will get like this program is working fine. So you can test this one on your side, but we will add to each like variable dot this keyword. If we look at here, a runtime type to discover what is the type of each variable. So if you look at here on this one, let me just run this example for you. Format. Okay, saying something wrong. Let me just see what's wrong. Maybe the replication is all appears. So there's an error in copy and paste. I want to copy all of this just to go faster because we have limited time for the video. Okay. So now as you can see, variable time like has been declared as a string, and when we printed book title dot runtime type, it will show on the runtime what is the type of this variable, which is string as you get. If you make this one, for example, let us just make it something else. So 1, 2, 3, and run it. Guess what? What are you going to get? The book title. As you can see, value is string integer. So you'll get an integer runtime type according to the initial value. Annotation. The annotations here if we look at here in this example below, we're declaring variable number using a var keyword. We want the variable to hold any type of number like integer and double. Okay, so this number we want to store like integer or double inside that one. So when you run the code snippet below, you will get an error if you run this one because you said like here if you look at variable, you initialize this variable like by using inference at the beginning as well as integer. Later we try to store double variable, double like value inside the variable. It will be rejected by the compiler because the type was here like declared as what based on the value as integer. So later you cannot change this one. So how we can solve this issue? Solving this error by using, we can solve this one by using the general data type for the number, which we call as you can see, the value of a type double cannot be assigned to a variable of type integer. So this line is rejected because you are trying to store double value inside an integer variable. How to solve this issue? By using type annotation. So type annotation here, by using the general data type, instead of var, we are going to use num. And num is a general type, generic enough to, and it can hold both integer and double. So it will solve for us the issue. Format and run it. So in this time now it will be accept 3.2 because we declare the number as num, which is like num could store a generic data type, I'll store both integer and double. Okay, dynamic type. So the dynamic type is not your variable, so like object of many types. You can declare a variable using a dynamic keyword. So at the beginning here, we'll put a dynamic string. We store inside that variable, then an integer. It becomes integer. Third time, when you put a Boolean value, it will be converted to Boolean. So it will keep converting the variable across different maybe lines of code by using a dynamic keyword. Defining a constant, which will be maybe our last topic for today. Sometimes you create variable and you assign to very specific value with the intention of never changing the value for the program to run successfully. It is very important that the value of the variable remains the same throughout the its lifetime. To create such a variable, we can use two keywords, the final and the constant. Before we get into final and constant, we have to know about the difference between compile time and runtime. So compile time and runtime, programming terms refer to different stages in programs or life cycle in programs lifetime. In order to create a program, you first write some source code. The source code defines how the program will function, the compilation and compile time. Computer don't understand the code we write in different programming languages. They only know one language, machine language. So only machine language is like known by the device. Like if you look at it, only machine language is known, and this is which is 1 and 0. And source code must be compiled into machine. Source code that you are writing should be compiled to machine code in order to be executable by the machine. This process refers to compilation. Now that we know like what the compilation is, let's look at. Let's take that as our base and learn about compile time through the example. We have been defining some integer and double variables in our program with initial values. These variables will always have the same initial value whenever we run the program. These values are fixed at the time of the compilation. Such things are said to be fixed during the compile time. So run and runtime. If we talk about it, sorry. Okay. After the program is compiled, we can now run it. Remember when we took like user input from the user last time, when we say like hello and what's your name, in one of the previous section, we could point out that the value displayed at the print statement could change every time we run the program, depending on what user input or user type. Things that cannot be determined until the program actually runs are said to be fixed at runtime. So setting a never changing variable to create variables whose like values cannot be changed, that provides the final keyword and the const. Instead of declaring a variable using a var or data type, you can use final and const. So final variable created by using a final keyword initialized the first time it is used and can only be set once. In other words, the final value will not at runtime. So for our example that we took before, we can just instead of writing string, we will write final, name, stdin, standard input, read line sync. We'll ask the user for input. During the runtime, we will just enter, for example, a name and say hello name. So name will be fixed. If we later try, for example, to do this thing here, if we want to get an input again and start in another variable, same like name again, here we are getting input, and here we are trying to get input again from the user and start inside name. We will get here an error because you make it as final. So only one time you can get the value and start inside the final. While constant variable created also using the constant keyword should be created when we know their value at the compile time. So it will be fixed like a final variable. A constant variable can only be set one time. So if we make constant name dot, later when we print, if we try to make it jack and we print, we will get an error in this case. If you look at here, just to make it clear for you. I forget to, okay, I have to put them on run. Okay. Okay. So now here says compilation error, and cannot assign to constant variable name because it was Bob and you are now to make it Jack. So compilation failed. During compilation, it will reject the new value as we said because this is like for compile time. Okay, compile time at the beginning should be set and it will be static during the running the program. So running the first code snippet with final variable is being declared, but replacing the final keyword with constant, you should also get error if you want to change. It will not be allowed. So now this chapter quiz, variables are be used for storing data, which is correct. What does what role does the variable name play when declaring a variable? Decide the data type of the variable. So a name of the variable, what role of this naming for the variable? It declares the initial, is it deciding the data type? No, it's not deciding the variable name. It's not setting initial value. It is like ask the identifier for the variable. Yes, it is correct. What type includes integer and double? We have a num with an n small, which is correct. And that. What is the default value for initialized variable? It will be null, as we studied on this chapter. So null is the correct one. In which of the following examples we are not assigning a literal to variable b? We are not assigning a literal, sorry, variable. In example 1, we are assigning a literal to b, yes. It is not, it's a variable, sorry. So in which of the following examples we are not assigning a literal? So in A, we are not assigning a literal, we are assigning variable to a variable. In this one, we are assigning a literal, because as you can see, it's not a variable. Also in C, we are assigning also a literal. So the only one we are not assigning a literal is A. We are assigning a variable to variable, which is a variable, as you can see, it has been declared before. What is the string interpolation? It is embedding strings with expression, as we explained earlier. What would the output of the given code? 3 plus 2 will be, as you know, like 3 plus 2, this one is string literal. After there are time set, expression will be evaluated. So 3 plus 2 equals will be 5. So which is B in this case, which is the following example is using type inference. So this one we are not using Boolean variable equals true. We are not using type inference because we use specific data type Boolean. Here we are using number and variable. I also have using specific data type. So when we say type inference, usually we are meaning var. We are just using a var, so this is type inference. So C is the correct one, var variable, and from the initial value, the compiler will discover data type of this variable. So it is C. Which of the following comes first, compile time or runtime? According to what we said earlier, the compile time, your source code should be compiled first to be translated to machine language, then it will be executed. So this process called compile time, then execution will be next. So I is the correct one. Operators and the introduction to operators, the types of these operators, expressions with the operators will be covered for third week, inshallah. Thank you very much for your time. See you soon.